Hello and welcome to the Reich Center for the matchup between your Otterbein Lady Cardinals and the visiting Wilmington Quakers. Otterbein comes into today's game 2-12 in conference play, 5-16 overall. Meanwhile, the visiting Wilmington Quakers, they are all the way up in 5th place, tied for 5th with Heidelberg. They are at 7-7, 12-9 overall. And Elijah, you know, these two teams kind of looking at opposite ends of the spectrum. Otterbein looking to end that 9-game losing streak, and they finally have a chance against a team that isn't quite as up there as teams like Baldwin-Wallace or Mount Union.
Yeah, they played very well against Baldwin-Wallace, like you mentioned, who's sitting in first place, a tie for first place in the conference. But Jacob, this is a game tonight that not only is it big for Otterbein, but it's also big for Wilmington, especially in their seeding as the OAC tournament moves very close to the end of the season.
Taking a look at last Saturday's loss to Baldwin-Wallace. Baldwin-Wallace, the first place team in the OAC at 12-2 in the conference. The Lady Cards opened up a 15-point lead just over 90 seconds into the second half, but the Yellow Jackets began their climb back with a 17-2 run, tying the contest at 51 by the midway point. They weathered that storm, though, and held a 7-point margin, did the Cardinals 66-59 with 6:21 remaining, but Baldwin-Wallace again kept rallying and tied the game at 68 before a jumper from Clara Lemon with 11 seconds left would seal the Cardinals' fate tonight. And then it's been that kind of season for Otterbein. Elijah, you know, we haven't seen as many sparks as we're used to in the past couple of years. You know, you look at on the bright side, Amariah Huck continues to prove her presence down in the post despite her lack of height. 13.8 points per game and 104 rebounds. Has been that big presence down in that block with great lower body strength.
Yeah, she really she's been able to again, you know, be really a spark, like you mentioned, Jacob, for this team when things aren't going well. Amariah Huck normally there to save the day for the Cards, but it just hasn't been enough this year. They haven't gotten enough production out of players, not just in the post, but at the guard spot. I mean, Chelsea Reed, she's gotten her points in a couple of games, and she's also played pretty well distributing the basketball. But you know, you look at players like Maddie Miller and especially Mary Corbett, they're going to have to find a way to get going in this game if Otterbein wants to find the victory.
Yeah, Mary Corbett, one of the senior leaders of this team, along with Chelsea Reed. But taking a look at the visiting Wilmington Quakers, and this is the team that has been in transition. They lead the series, though, overall 22-12, dating back to 1984. And they are led by the 5'5" winger, number 11, Courtney Tucker. The senior wing is a 38% from the field. More of an inside shooter, though, despite her 5'5" stature, but also leads the team with 137 rebounds, so she's going to be one player that Otterbein has to keep an eye on. Doesn't have that height advantage, but she has that speed to her advantage.
Yeah, she does, and Jacob, you know, this is a team that they don't score the basketball very well. They're only averaging about 63 points per game, but this is really a team that has a lot of players that can get things done. You talked about, obviously, Courtney Tucker that you mentioned, but looking at some of the other starters, Jacob, it's really just been a mixture of things. And, you know, it's really, this is a game in which Otterbein is just really going to have to play well all the way around from the post out to the guard position. They're really going to have to make it tough for Wilmington to score the basketball.
You also take a look at the sophomore post player, number 15. That's Hannah Hassiger, the sophomore. Tallest on that floor at 6 feet tall. Otterbein's going to need that match, but luckily they have it not only in Taylor Pfeiffer, but also in one of their newest post players, and that is Kirsten Taylor. Taylor just coming to Otterbein after taking the first semester off, and especially that is going to be a relief, given the fact that Otterbein does rely on that 3 to 4 guard offense with their limited size, but you do have players like Abby Majuri, Chelsea Reed, Maddie Miller, Marissa Sheets, as well as Cheyenne Hartley-Carr, but it's great to add those two players in the post, and for Otterbein, that is going to be the key tonight, is to defend that block well. And Elijah, I know that's certainly been a struggle for Otterbein most of the year.
Yeah, it really has, especially inside. I mean, you look at Otterbein down low, and Amariah Huck really been the only bright spot down in the post. Taylor Pfeiffer, she's had a pretty solid year, but she's going to have to play very well in this game, like you mentioned. Wilmington has some size down low, but I think it really all starts with the guards. I mean, you look at the guard play of Chelsea Reed, Mary Corbett, and also Maddie Miller, who are going to be the three guards in this basketball game. But you look at the guard play for Otterbein, and it's really going to have to be there. It's going to have to they're going to have to get production, and also off the bench from players like Cheyenne Hartley-Carr and Abby Maduri. They're going to have to step up and come off the bench and really make their impact known.
As Otterbein takes a look, as Otterbein on the floor actually with the warm-ups, as they are making their final rounds, getting themselves warmed up. We'll be right back with starting lineups and the anthem as long as the opening tip-off here on Otterbein TV. back up in a little bit. I was going to go back up when they were announcing the starting lineups. Okay. We'll be fine. Whew. Welcome back here to the Reich Center, between the matchup between the Otterbein Lady Cardinals and the Wilmington Quakers. Taking a look at both matchups earlier on, but Wilmington 5th place in the Ohio Athletic Conference at 7-7. One of the weaknesses for Otterbein to take advantage of, though, that we didn't talk about earlier was 31% from outside the arc. Otterbein needs to be able to defend that paint well, and we talked about size, but, you know, Elijah, this is a team that, as you said, not very high-scoring team. They're going to rely on their defense to carry them.
Yeah, they really are. But, you know, Jacob, again, you mentioned it. They do have players that can score the basketball. Of course, Courtney Tucker really being the leader in that department. But, you know, you got players like Mary Moyer who will be in the starting lineup, standing at 5'11", and she is a very talented player as well in the post for Wilmington. So, you know, we'll see how Otterbein does defending her inside. But, again, if they can shut down the guards of Wilmington, this should be a good game for Otterbein.
Otterbein, where they sit in the Ohio Athletic Conference, it's all the way down at 10th. And with just a few games remaining, every game matters to this point. And for Otterbein, that is going to be key against one of these, against the Wilmington team, which they have lost the last 3 to, going all the way back to December of 2013. Now taking a look at both of these lineups, we talked about Courtney Tucker, Elijah. We talked about Hannah Hasker, but we also this Wilmington team kind of relies on that depth system. They don't score a lot, so they have a much more balanced attack. What is Otterbein's key overall tonight for both offensively and defensively to carry this team to victory?
Well, I think offensively, I mentioned it, it's going to be the play of the guards, and can they not turn the ball over? Can they continue to control the ball and control the tempo of this game? And really on the other side of it, defensively, they're going again to have to find a way to stop, to cut the head off the snake and be able to stop Courtney Tucker and also be able to slow down Mary Moyer. Now, Mary Moyer, obviously a taller player, and she's a little tougher to guard, but, you know, really, again, it starts with the guard play, and can they keep the turnover numbers down? Otterbein's had trouble with that this season with turnovers, so we'll see if they can keep those numbers down, if they can find a way to get the victory here tonight.
Yeah, you take a look at turnovers. That has been a problem for this Otterbein offense all season. Again, relying on 3 to 4 guards at usually on the floor at certain points in the game. But then again, we did talk about the emergence of Kirsten Taylor and what she does mean to this lineup. So obviously, Elijah, for this Otterbein team, that size is going to be key because they haven't had that all season. And Connie Richardson talked about it early on, where they're just going to have to go with what their lineup gives them until they can start to emerge.
Yeah, and you know, you look at what the players have done for Otterbein above their average. I mean, you look at Mary Corbett, and she's averaging 11 points, but in the rebounding department, it's been Amariah Huck who's leading the way. She's averaging 5 rebounds. And then you got Chelsea Reed, who's averaging 4.2. So Otterbein really hasn't had the production out of their lineup that they've wanted in the rebounding category, and they're going to have to get production, especially from players like Taylor Pfeiffer when she comes off the bench and plays a little bit in this basketball game. And really, again, it's just going to have to be production from top to bottom for Otterbein if they want to get this team win here tonight.
Top to bottom production, depth, a concern, definitely a point of emphasis headed into this game, as Otterbein will look to get back in that tournament hunt. They have not been there since 2013, where they went all the way to the NCAA tournament, led by that trio of Hannah Day, Allie Leopard, amongst others. But Otterbein is still struggling to find their identity here at the Reich Center. No better place to do it than back home, as the two teams get ready to line up for the national anthem prior to the starting lineups. And, you know, I think, Elijah, for Otterbein, the key tonight is just going to be, you know, play what you talked about earlier on. And, you know, Amariah Huck against Kirsten Taylor and Taylor Pfeiffer is really going to be the difference makers down in the paint, as we will pause and be back in just a moment for the national anthem. National anthem courtesy of the Otterbein Pep Band, directed by Dr. Joel Schonkweiler, as we take a look at these starting lineups. First for the visiting Wilmington Quakers, the senior winger we talked about earlier, 5'5" out of Cincinnati Sycamore, number 11 Courtney Tucker, Ashley Andraki, number 20, the junior guard out of Columbus and Bishop Watterson High School, Kirsten Glick wearing number 25, the senior point guard out of Arcadia and Arcadia High School. Spencer Robles, the senior winger out of Clyde, wearing number 32. And number 40, Mary Moyer, the senior post out of Martinsville, and Clinton Massey. And for the starting lineups for Otterbein, Elijah Gonzalez.
For Otterbein, it'll go as follows at the guard spot. It'll be number 2, Chelsea Reed, the senior point guard, standing at 5'7" from Fairborn, Ohio. Standing at 5'7" as well, the senior number 10, Maddie Miller. And then number 24, Mary Corbett, the senior guard, standing at 5'7" from Upper Arlington High School. And in the post, it'll be as follows. It'll be Taylor Piper, the sophomore forward, standing at 6 foot from Cincinnati, Ohio. And then number 32, Amariah Huck from Tri-Valley High School in Zanesville, Ohio. The Cardinals are coached by Connie Richardson, who's in her 24th season as the head coach of the Cardinals. So now as the Wilmington Quakers gather on the far side of the floor, and Otterbein will gather over on the near side. In Otterbein's search of a victory here on Otterbein TV. Glad you could join us here for first half action as the referees are ready. And Otterbein is getting ready here as they head back to the bench. And Jacob, again, this is a game in which Otterbein is coming in, obviously hoping to break that losing streak, but also not out of the tournament just yet.
Yeah, you have a handful of games left, and obviously you don't want to look too far ahead, but this Saturday you have that rivalry game against Capital. Always a game that can, really pick your spirits up to get yourselves going. What way to go into that than getting a victory tonight against the Wilmington team that has had Otterbein's number for the past couple seasons.
So now both teams are out for the jump. It's going to be Mary Moyer and Maddie Miller that'll do the jump ball here for both sides. Moyer wearing number 40 in black, as you can see Wilmington in their black uniforms with the green numbering and white trim. Otterbein in the all white and the red trim and the red numbering. As going up with it is Courtney Tucker, and she puts it in for the first bucket of the game. It's 2-0 quickly here as Otterbein pushes up the floor. Chelsea Reed has it here, gives it to Maddie Miller. Will hold it there. Swinging it around is Otterbein. Corbett comes off a screen, looks to penetrate, steps back. Goes to Amariah Huck now. Huck with it. Looks to penetrate in the lane. Goes up in the middle of the lane. No good. And the rebound is grabbed there by Glick as she pushes up the floor. Here comes Wilmington now. As with it is Ashley Andraki. Now they move it around all the way to the near side. Penetrating in the lane is Spencer Robles. She kicks it out. Wilmington setting it up here as there's 13 seconds and counting on the shot clock. They go into the high post. It's Moyer. Moyer looking to go backdoor to Tucker, and a foul is going to be called here as it's going to go on Mary Corbett. And that's going to be the first foul on Corbett and the first team foul of the half for the Otterbein Cardinals. As Andraki will inbound from the baseline. Andraki still looking for someone to go to. Has to find somebody and does. She finds Glick down low on the left side of the hoop. It's no good. Rebound to Amariah Huck, and she is going to be fouled there as Spencer Robles thought she got the jump ball, but instead they're going to call a foul on Robles. So that's going to be the first foul of the half on the Quakers and the first on Robles.
That's the kind of defense we need to see from Otterbein down in the post, Elijah. We talked about Taylor Pfeiffer's presence down low, especially against a team like Wilmington.
Chelsea Reed with it now on the near side. Goes up to the top of the key to Corbett, but a offensive foul is called on the screen there by Taylor Pfeiffer. And that's going to be her first foul of the game and the team's second. So a substitution already coming in for the Quakers as Brittany Jefferson, who's averaging 9.1 points a game for the Quakers, will check in. As 2-0 your score here from the right center. As Wilmington with it now, Glick at the top of the key. Jefferson, who just checked in, gives it off now to Tucker, and now they swing it around. Looking to go inside is Wilmington, and it's stripped away by Pfeiffer, and she comes away with it. Now gets it up to Corbett, who gets it up to Maddie Miller, who's going to pull it out. Miller gives it off to Chelsea Reed. Back to Miller. Swinging it around is Otterbein. It's Corbett now. Corbett comes off the screen, looks to penetrate, goes with the jumper at the free throw line. It's an air ball, but Maddie Miller comes away with the rebound. Taylor Pfeiffer dribbling around the arc, gives it to Mary Corbett, guarded by Brittany Jefferson. They try to go back to Corbett, and it's stolen away by Jefferson. She pushes quickly down the floor, gets it up to Mary Moyer, goes up with a layup, and it's blocked there by Maddie Miller, but a foul is going to be called here on Maddie Miller. It's going to be her first personal and the team's third foul of the game.
Great feed there by Brittany Jefferson going up to Moyer. Saw her streaking ahead. Maddie Miller had nothing else to do there but just take the foul.
So Moyer at the charity stripe, as these are the first free throws of the game for either side, and Moyer knocks it down. On the season, Mary Moyer has bumped up her percentage after that one, but shooting 70.9%, around 71%, and the second one's up and good. So she's 100% here today as it's 4-0 Wilmington. Chelsea Reed across the time stripe to Mary Corbett. Corbett off the screen. Pump fakes. Gets it out to Chelsea Reed, who goes with a step-in jumper. It's no good off the front rim, but Maddie Miller there for the board. Can't get it to go. She airballs it. Putting it up and in is going to be Kirsten Taylor as she puts it in for her first points of the game. And now a turnover here by Wilmington. Chelsea Reed with it now. Reed goes inside to Taylor again. She puts it up left side of the rim. Can't get it to fall, but she'll head to the charity stripe and she'll shoot two.
Well, that's why Connie Richardson made that move and ended up putting Kirsten Taylor into the lineup. She brings that edge, brings that physicality that this Cardinals team has desperately needed all season.
That foul goes on Mary Moyer. That's her first foul of the game, as the first one from Taylor is up and good. And on the season, Kirsten Taylor shooting a very good 80% from the charity stripe. Otterbein now down 4-3, hoping to tie it up as Taylor. As she puts up the second free throw, it's short off the front rim. And the rebound goes to Glick, as pushing it up the floor is Wilmington. They go inside to Moyer, kicks it back out. Open three, no good. Rebound to Glick as she's going to look to go up with it. Does, and gets it blocked there by Taylor, but a foul is going to be called. So Tucker misses the three-pointer, but Otterbein doesn't box out. And going to the line is Kristen Glick.
Kirsten Glick, one of those players that you do want on the free throw line, 30-42. So nothing worse for Moyer. Make her take the foul, make her go to the charity stripe.
As that was the first foul on Kirsten Taylor. The second free throw is up and good from Glick. As Jacob mentioned, 71% from the charity stripe. But Wilmington right now shooting 100%. 6-3 the score. Chelsea Reed has it now. Top of the key. Comes off a screen. Still dribbling around. Kicks it out to Maddie Miller. Miller holding. Goes inside, Amariah Huck. She looks to spin around and gets it stripped away from her by Jefferson. Now Jefferson pushing quickly up the floor. Gets it off to Sawyer Hooper on the far side. Hooper pulls it back out and will set up the offense. Penetrates in the lane, goes up with it, no good. The rebound is grabbed there by Otterbein. So it was actually Ellie Keevel that's in the game for Wilmington, not Sawyer Hooper. As it's Chelsea Reed with the basketball. Puts it on the floor now, setting up the offense. Taylor goes inside to Amariah Huck, goes up on the right side of the rim, gets it to go. Good finish by Amariah Huck.
A great feed there looking for Huck inside. Little thread the needle pass.
As now it's Cavell with it. Gives it off, and it's almost stolen away by Maddie Miller, as Jefferson was the intended target there for Courtney Tucker, but now a substitution as Glick will check out of the game. Also checking in as Taylor Pfeiffer for Otterbein. She's going to get Amariah Huck. Amariah Huck will head to the bench.
And we talked about the presence of Hannah Hasker now out there on the court, being the tallest player at 6 feet tall.
So now working with it is Cavell. She has it. Goes inside, almost taken away, but Mary Moyer goes up and puts it in on the right side of the rim. Good finish by Moyer, and now Chelsea Reed gets the inbound, pushing quickly. Reed looking to go somewhere and can't, pulls it back out. Still with it is Chelsea Reed. Kicks it out now. It's Maddie Miller who's dribbling around. 15 on the shot clock. 8-5 the score. Taylor off to Corbett. Corbett comes off the screen. Under 10 now is the shot clock. They kick it out. Chelsea Reed, open three, near side wing. Got it to go. Big shot by Chelsea Reed. We're all knotted up at 8. They go quickly up the floor. Wilmington does to Mary Moyer. She puts it up. Can't get the left hook to fall. And now Otterbein will push the other way. Reed setting up the offense now as she slows it down. Goes into the high post. Hands it back off to Chelsea Reed. 3 from the top of the key is an air ball, and it will go the other way as Wilmington will take possession. Abby Maduri checking into the game. Maddie Miller is going to be the player that's substituted out.
Maduri, one of the many young players in this lineup. Something that Connie Richardson's not used to having a whole lot of, but she provides that depth at the guard position. That's part of this team's identity that Otterbein has had for the past several seasons.
Cavell with it now, guarded by Maduri. As they give it off and back to Cavell. She comes off a screen, pulls a 3, and it's off the back rim. Rebound grab by Maduri. Here comes Abby Maduri now. She nice long feed to Taylor Pfeiffer, who goes up, lays it in, and gets the foul. Big finish by Taylor Pfeiffer, and it's now the first Otterbein lead of the basketball game.
That's a similar play to what we saw earlier with Amarai Huck. I was again through a handful of players, but getting to that post position and getting those easy points.
And how about Taylor Pfeiffer running the floor there to get the bucket as she puts up the free throw. It's up and good. 11-8 the score. Here is Otterbein with their first lead of the game. Checking out is Cavell. Checking in is going to be Lexi Weber as she gets her first action of the game. She'll set up the offense here for Wilmington. Maduri makes her pick up her dribble, and now they swing it around. It's with Jefferson. Top of the key now. It's back with Weber, who pulls a 3, and it's an air ball, and it will go the other way. As not a good shot there from Courtney Weber, the freshman guard from Clyde, Ohio, and a timeout is going to be taken here. And we'll see if it's a full or a 30. It's going to be a full timeout here for Wilmington with 14 to go on the clock. 11-8 is our score. 14 fouls for Otterbein, 3 is for Wilmington.
Yeah, it's a pretty high number for this point in the game, Elijah, but I think for Otterbein, it's sticking to that game of, kicking up that fast pace and catching Wilmington's defense off guard, really not giving them a chance to think. We've seen a few thread-the-needle passes to the post position, with Taylor Pfeiffer and Amarai Huck, and we want to see those continue, not force too many outside shots like this team is used to taking and take advantage of this added depth that they have.
Yeah, and Jacob, if you're Coach Richardson, what are you saying in your huddle right now?
I think you're just telling them to play that game, play that style. Make sure that, regardless of who's on the court for Wilmington, we've seen Wilmington substitute in a handful of times already, not to give in what they're giving you, but to stick with that defense. And again, we talked about the presence in the paint for this team to really force the issue down low.
So Otterbein will bring the ball down the floor as the referee waits for everything to be okay here. And here we go as Chelsea Reed dribble it across the time stripe. Reed gives it off to Maduri. And Maduri goes to Pfeiffer. Now it's with Chelsea Reed. She gives it to Mary Corbett. Corbett looking to go inside. In order to go with the basketball, has to give it off, does. As now it's Chelsea Reed with it. Goes back to Corbett. Open 3 near side. Off the rim. Rebound is slapped away by Taylor, but it goes into the hands of Wilmington, and pushing is Lexi Weber. Weber now pushing up the floor. Gives it off now to Jefferson, back to Weber. Resetting the offense here is Wilmington as they move the basketball. Jefferson, 3 from the far side wing. Got it. Big shot there by Jefferson. She's got some range. We're all tied up at 11. Chelsea Reed looking to penetrate. Gives it off to Maduri. Swung around to Corbett, who lost it off her hands, and it's going to go the other direction.
Yeah, she fumbled that pass there, and it was a good job by Lexi Weber, the freshman guard, to climb in there and interfere with that play.
So now Weber will bring it up for Wilmington. As they hand off, looking to penetrate, is Savannah Hooper, who's in the game. Looking to go inside. They kick it back out. Now it's Jefferson. Jefferson pulls it back out, crosses over, goes with a nice up and under, and can't get it to fall. Rebound to Taylor Pfeiffer as she pushes up the floor. Pfeiffer gives it off to Chelsea Reed. As Reed looking to penetrate. Goes up, and she's fouled, and one from Chelsea Reed. What a finish there by the senior point guard, and she gets it to fall. She'll head to the charity stripe as Otterbein with the 2-point lead.
Yeah, and she had the hands of Savannah Hooper all over her and was able to get that left-handed hook shot up and underneath. And she'll go back to the charity stripe as well for a chance for an old-fashioned three-point play.
So Courtney Tucker checking in the game along with Glick. And also checking in is Andraki as Chelsea Reed from the charity stripe this season, shooting about 75%. As she puts up the first one, it's up and good. That'll be the final one as she puts the three-point play in the bucket. As now it's Andraki. She gives it off. They have it top of the key with Glick. Swinging around is Wilmington. They go into the short corner, kick it back out. Looking to penetrate, and losing it was Andraki. Now it's Maduri. Maduri, nice hesitation, pulls it back out. Gives it to Maddie Miller, and now Chelsea Reed will set up the offense here for Otterbein. 14-11 as there's 12:20 to go in the first half. Reed penetrates right side of the rim, can't get the layup to fall, and the rebound goes to Courtney Tucker. Tucker gets it up the floor quickly. Andraki will hold it and set up the offense. They give it off here to Tucker as she comes off a screen. Back to Andraki. They go inside now. Going up with the layup and can't get it to fall is Emily Smith as she's checked into the game for Wilmington. They swing it around. Now it's Chelsea Reed with it for Otterbein. Reed calling out a play, waiting for a screen. Comes off the screen. Kicks it out. Open three, Taylor Pfeiffer, and she traveled before the shot. Airballed the three anyway.
Yeah, it looks like on the near side she took one too many steps with that left and right foot and wasn't able to get control of it firmly.
Andraki will bring it up the floor for Wilmington. As it's now with Tucker. Gives it up, top of the key. Open three, can't get it to fall off the front rim there for Robles, but going up with it is Emily Smith, and she gets it to fall.
Good second effort there by Smith, not giving up on the play, knowing that that shot probably wasn't going to go in.
Maddie Miller goes inside Amariah Huck. She loses it.
Wow.
Taken away now, pushing up the floor is Robles. Robles looking to go in transition. Pulls it back out, and it's now Tucker with it. She gives it off to Andraki, will set it up. Andraki, guarded by Maddie Miller, comes off a screen, kicks it out. Open three, Robles. Off the rim. Rebound is corralled. No, it's still on the floor and picked up by Wilmington. Going up with it is Tucker. She can't get it to fall. Rebound tipped around, and it's going to be Otterbein basketball.
They're going to say that one went off the hands of Kristen Glick, who was standing right there on that baseline to try and knock it away from Amariah Huck. But Huck doing a great job just boxing out and forcing the issue against Wilmington.
So Taylor Pfeiffer checks out of the game. Checking in. It's Kirsten Taylor as she comes into this basketball game. Chelsea Reed brings it across the time stripe. Hands off Maddie Miller. Miller's had a double-digit game in the past couple of games for Otterbein, but no buckets here today, and the travel by Abby Maduri. She walked with it, and another turnover for Otterbein. Jacob, turnover is such a key part, and it's really hurt the Cardinals this year.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I think it's those plays where they're really not thinking enough, and where you try to hesitate, something doesn't go right, and all of a sudden you start to panic.
Penetrating and going up and getting fouled is Cavell. She gets it to fall, the freshman out of Hamilton. She'll head to the line as well. Abby Maduri picks up her first foul.
That's going to be team's fifth already.
Cavell puts it up and gets it to fall. Big shot there by Cavell. And it's now 16-14 in favor of Wilmington. Reed setting things up now as she's guarded by Tucker. Maddie Miller open three far side, no good. Rebound is grabbed there by Glick. And now pushing it up the floor is Cavell. She gets it up the floor, nice feed to Moyer. Moyer finishes in transition. 4-point game now as Chelsea Reed brings it across quickly. Maduri goes inside, Amariah Huck. Huck backing down now, looking to spin, kicks it back out to Taylor. Back over Chelsea Reed. They swing it quickly, Maddie Miller. Got it, big three from the corner. Nice shot by Maddie Miller.
Yeah, she slipped and fell in that one. Took one extra step backwards, but a good job there. She had support as well, which always helps when you're shooting a three-pointer.
Cavell comes off a screen, now looking to drive in the lane, goes up and can't get it to go. Rebound is grabbed, but a jump ball is going to be called. We'll see which way it goes. It's going to be possession arrow with Otterbein. So nothing, no harm there as Fiera Cruz checks into the game. And checking in for Chelsea Reed as Reed will check out. So on the floor right now for Coach Richardson is Abby Maduri and Fiera Cruz in the backcourt along with Maddie Miller. Maduri looking to come off the screen, looking to penetrate, gives it to Huck at the high post. Huck shoots a jumper, and it's going to fall off the back rim, no good. Rebound is grabbed by Tucker, but now a jump ball. It's going to go the way of Wilmington.
Yeah, jump ball possession favored Wilmington on that play, but you have to credit Fiera Cruz for not giving up on the rebound. She saw the ball bounce around a little bit as Hannah Hassiker struggled to control it.
Cavell gets it up the floor for Wilmington. Now it's with Tucker on the far side. They give it top of the key to Robles. They go inside now to Tucker. She goes up and gets it to go. Big bucket there by Courtney Tucker. We're back to a three-point game. Maddie Miller now looking to drive, fouled as she drove. So the foul's going to go on Robles. I believe that's going to be her second personal.
And that one, you talked about, Elijah, it was on. It wasn't a shooting foul. It was as she drove to the net. So Otterbein going to look to set something up here, possibly a box or something, to try and draw up an offensive play here.
8:43 to go here in the first half. Otterbein trails by 3. Corbett looking to inbound, gets it to Huck. Huck has it, gives it back to Maddie Miller. Miller off to Fiera Cruz, waits for a screen. She comes off, looking to penetrate, goes up, and she's fouled as she took it hard to the basket. Took a shot as she went to the ground. Foul's going to be on Brittany Jefferson, and that's going to be her first personal of the game for Jefferson. Sophomore out of Dayton. And Fiera Cruz will be at the charity stripe, looking to add to the total here for Otterbein. As the first free throw is up and no good from Fiera Cruz. For Otterbein, they're now 3 of 5 from the charity stripe. Second free throw by Fiera Cruz is up and good. So Otterbein will go be at 4 of 6 from the charity stripe. As now Cavell brings it across and sets up for Wilmington. Goes inside to Tucker. Tucker penetrates, goes up, gets it blocked away by Maddie Miller and into the hands of Kirsten Taylor. Taylor pushing by herself quickly, looking to penetrate. Right side, goes up, she's fouled. So Taylor will head to the charity stripe, looking to tie this game up here for Otterbein with 8:11 to go.
Good individual effort there by Kirsten Taylor going up against a taller player like Hannah Hassiker. Thought she had a little bit of extra space, but Hassiker gets the arm around her to force the foul.
First foul on Hassiker is the first free throw from Taylor's up and good. Hassiker now with 1 foul, 17 fouls on Wilmington, so the rest of the way Otterbein is in the 1-on-1 situation. Taylor puts it up and gets it to fall. We're all tied up at 20 with 8:10 and counting. Cavell across the time stripe, penetrating, gets it blocked by Fiera Cruz. Cavell picks up her own rebound. Now goes behind her back, comes off a screen. They give it off now, throwing it away, and that's going to be a turnover for Wilmington. It is a turnover as Hannah Hassiker throws it away, and Otterbein will get possession back with 7:54 on the clock.
A little bit of miscommunication there by the Wilmington offense, and we're starting to see them get a little scrambled out a bit more. And it's because of the aggressiveness of Otterbein's defense. Great job by Fiera Cruz to play face up and to try and grab possession of that ball.
Andraki back in the game now, but Mary Corbett, who has checked in, has the basketball. Gives it off now. It's Maddie Miller. Miller goes inside to Huck. Back out to Miller. Pump fakes the shot. Penetrates. Goes up. Can't get it to go. And the rebound is going to go in the hands of Wilmington. Now it's Tucker. Tucker kicks it back out to Jefferson. Jefferson penetrates. Goes up. Left side. Gets it to go. Nice finish there by Brittany Jefferson. With 7:21 and counting. Otterbein trails again by 2. Back and forth we go as Fiera Cruz with it. Comes off the screen, now looks to penetrate. Kicks it back out, Amarai Huck. Thought about the 3. Goes inside now to Taylor. Taylor goes up right side, gets it to go. How about Kirsten Taylor having a pretty good game here for the Otterbein Cardinals as she now has 5 points. 7 points actually on the evening.
Kirsten Taylor doing a good job standing on that block. And that was a great feed from the point to try and just, take a couple dribbles, just spin up and see what happens.
So Maddie Miller and Amariah Huck check out of the game as Wilmington inbounds. With it now is Andraki. She goes inside to Moyer. Kick it back out high post, and it's no good as the shot by Wilmington was missed by Hasseker. Fiera Cruz pushing quickly, goes up, left side of the rim, rolls around, rolls out. Rebound is grabbed by Hasseker. She gets it up the floor quickly. Now it's Andraki. Kicks it over to Jefferson. She penetrates. Nice move to the rim. No good. Gets her own rebound. Looking to go up with it and gets it to go. 2-point game now as Wilmington regains the lead. Reed looking to go inside. Gets it into Pfeiffer. Kicks it back out. Fiera Cruz. Now Reed. Back inside. A little triangle offense as they go to Pfeiffer. She puts up the fadeaway jumper. No good. Rebound grab there and given off to Andraki. And she'll slow down the tempo with 5:59 counting on the clock. Jefferson goes with the pump fake, kicks it back out. Now it's Jefferson a 3, no good. Rebound is grabbed by Chelsea Reed. Reed pushing for Otterbein. Gives it off to Pfeiffer. And now Otterbein setting up a play. Cruz comes off a screen. Timeout is called here by head coach Connie Richardson. She'll want to talk this one over. It's going to be a full timeout here for Otterbein.
Yeah, and with 18 seconds left on the shot clock, I think if you're Connie Richardson, you want to be able to kind of get a rhythm going here. We saw Otterbein kind of go back and forth with the basketball a little bit. Lots of back and forth action in general. And for Richardson, she's trying to get her girls together to, set something up, get a little bit organized, get it down low on the block eventually at one point and open up those passing lanes.
5:37 again to go. Otterbein trails by 2. It's been a good contest here on Otterbein TV. As, again, Otterbein has really played well here to start this basketball game and not far off from being out of the OAC tournament, as they are right now just sitting just outside of the tournament. And right now, down in Wilmington, the Otterbein Cardinals are ahead 21-20. And for Otterbein, it's been Grant Fenner and Marshall Crum. Crum has 8 points for Otterbein. Grant Fenner has 6. And Daryl Miller III and Brian McKenzie each have 3 points respectively here to start this game for Otterbein. And 21-20 is your score.
Yeah, good to see Marshall Crum back in that lineup for the men's team. Looking for that senior leadership. Coach Adrian looking for a little bit of a change, a little bit of a way to bolster his lineup. And what better way?
Jake Phillips as well as Mark McEwen are out for the game tonight, so they will not be playing as Mary Corbett puts up the jumper and gets it to fall. We're all tied up at 24. Back to what you were saying, Jacob, he was out of the lineup for a while, partially because of sickness, and then he came back, and really Mark McEwen was playing well.
Yep.
And so it was tough for Marshall to get back in the lineup. But now with Mark McEwen out and the way Marshall's been playing as of late, and especially good going into that Capital game, as that's a big one on Saturday, as they go inside. Going up is Emily Smith. She can't get it to go. Tipped out, and Chelsea Reed is now in transition. Reed going up left side. No good. Rebound grabbed by Andraki. Now Wilmington pushes the other way. They give it off. Go inside. It's tipped away, but now in the hands of Emily Smith. She goes up and airballs it. And the rebound grabbed there by Mary Corbett. They get it up the floor. That was Jacole Tabor that fell down there. Chelsea Reed gives it to Fiera Cruz. Back to Reed. As they move it around, Corbett swung a bit of an elbow there, and now penetrates, goes to the step back, goes to the up and under, puts it up, and it can't fall. Rebound is grabbed by Emily Smith. 4:25 and counting as Andracki now pushes up the floor. Coming off a screen is Wilmington, and they give it off. Open three for Andracki. No good, in and out. Rebound grab by Chelsea Reed. Nice spin move as she pushes up the floor. Reed gives it off Fiera Cruz, puts it up, no good. Rebound grab by Fiera Cruz, kicks it back out to Taylor. Back out to Corbett. Pump fakes a three, thought about it, steps back, and now gives it off Fiera Cruz.
If you're Corbett, you got to take that shot.
Yeah, I agree with you, Jacob. I mean, she was open, and also had Chelsea Reed open if she'd given it off. Corbett pump fakes another three, looks to penetrate. She goes up. No, a lot of contact, no foul call. Going up now is Taylor. She can't get it to go. Rebound Taylor again, can't get it to go. And now the rebound is corralled by Wilmington, and pushing is Andracki. Andracki looking to penetrate in the lane. Still in the lane. It's got to be 3 seconds at some point, and they call it. Right before Jacole Tabor kicked it off and gave it to Savannah Hooper, who was wide open for a three-pointer. As Taylor and Fiera Cruz check out. 24 all the score here from the Reich Center.
And not too far away, Elijah. You mentioned the Capital game. That's going to be right back here this Saturday. I'm sure we're all aware of what happened last year during the men's game. Got a little bit intense. Look for the same amount of action this year. But for Otterbein, catching this momentum here.
You catch both those games right here on Otterbein TV. You can also listen to them on WOBN, as the foul is going to be called offensively on Mary Corbett, and that is going to be her second team foul, or her second foul and the team's seventh foul, or sixth, excuse me, as it's up on the board.
And Maduri doing her job by replacing Mary Corbett. Connie Richardson wants to keep Mary Corbett fresh and keep her off that foul sheet.
So, Jacob, how about this? Otterbein was up 21-20. It's now 28-21 Wilmington, as the layup is missed there by Tucker and grabbed by Amariah Huck. Maduri puts up the three, but she traveled before she did. And again, another turnover here for Otterbein.
Yeah, Otterbein now with 7 turnovers, Wilmington with 5, and a lot of back and forth play as a result between these two teams.
It's now Cavell with it, guarded by Maduri. They go into Jefferson. She spins, goes up, traveled before she spun.
Yeah, and I think that was a little bit of miscommunication there between her and one of her post players, Mary Moyer, who was standing there, thought she was going to get the ball, wasn't sure what was going to happen, and all of a sudden she tries to post up with one of her own players in the way.
Maddie Miller with it, as she holds and gives off to Amariah Huck. They go inside, and a foul is going to be called here. I believe it's going to be on Moyer, as Moyer is checked back into the game. And it is going to be a foul on Moyer as she pushed there, and that's going to be her second foul and the team's 8th foul. So that sends Taylor Pfeiffer to the line in a 1-on-1 situation. And Moyer will have to go right back to the bench where she came. And Emily Smith will check in for her. Jacob, you mentioned a lot of height for this team. Emily Smith just adding to it as she also stands at 6 foot, as Pfeiffer puts up the first one, and it's good. 25-24 now, Otterbein in the lead. As putting up the second free throw is Pfeiffer, and it's good. 26-24, 2:39 to go here in the first half between Otterbein and Wilmington, and it's thrown away by Wilmington, a turnover. So Otterbein will get possession and now has a chance to take a 2-possession lead, something they have yet to do in this basketball game.
Yeah, we've seen that a couple times from Wilmington, but really not much larger than a 4-point lead for either team here.
Maduri penetrates, jumper in the lane, off the backboard, no good. Rebound to Maduri, kicks it out, Chelsea Reed. Now Maduri, open three from the near side corner, yes! As she knocks it down, and it's a 5-point game. That was a big shot by the freshman. Cavell now has it. As she looks to penetrate, kicks it out, open three for Tucker. Rims in and out. Rebound by Chelsea Reed. She pushes quickly up the floor. Maddie Miller, layup on the right side of the rim. No good. Rebound by Amariah Huck. She puts it up. Foul and one. Amariah Huck will head to the charity stripe to make it a 3-point play. Well, what a finish by Huck.
Well, what a feed to Maddie Miller, though. She hesitated a little bit, tried to post up, got a little bit too much on that shot, but a timeout called here by Jerry Sheev in his 24th season as head coach. He wants to rally his troops around a little bit.
Yeah, and Jacob, how about this? I mean, you look at Otterbein, and really both sides have came out sluggish, and you know, maybe it has to do with the environment or whatnot here, but it just felt a little slow to start off this game. And right now, Otterbein has really just started to come into their own here, and they're playing some pretty good basketball as we head down the stretch of this first half.
Well, I think, you know, early on, up until this point, you know, neither team was really willing to give an edge. But once that floor opens up, that's where Connie Richardson's team starts to go to work with the speed that she has of players like Maddie Miller. You add an Abby Maduri to that mix. You also have the players down at the post and Taylor Pfeiffer and Amariah Huck. So you have all positions that you need in order to get this job done.
3:40 to go in the first half of action between Otterbein and Wilmington right now on the men's side down in Wilmington. And Wilmington has a 34-24 lead. If you want to tune into that game while you watch this one, you can tune in on WOBN.net. David Kinder and Jeff Murtaugh are down in Wilmington with the call, and a foul here on the floor at the Reich Center is called, and it's on Abby Maduri. That's going to be her second personal foul and the team's 7th foul, so Wilmington will now be in the bonus as Cavell goes to the line. Cavell puts up the first one. It's good. And on the season, Cavell shot the ball not very well from the charity stripe as she's shooting 63% from the line. And that's some numbers you don't normally see out of point guards, but Cavell knocks down both there. And Wilmington stays perfect from the charity stripe. 31-26 the score as Chelsea Reed gives it off to Maddie Miller as Wilmington was in a bit of a press there. And now it's back with Miller. She goes back to Reed. Reed setting up the offense. 13 on the shot clock. Almost got it tipped away and now does, and it's taken away by Tucker, and a foul is called on Amariah Huck as she fell on top of Tucker. And Courtney Tucker will head to the line. Fouls on Amariah Huck is her first. Team's 8th foul.
And that's a player control foul if you're Amariah Huck. You're trying to move yourself around a little bit too much. And again, in these one-on-one situations, you have to be careful how it can change momentum getting these points. Yeah, Coach Richardson was not happy with the call as Tucker knocks down the free throw. 8 of 8 now is Wilmington from the charity stripe. 31-27. Looking to make it a 3-point game is Tucker. It's up and it's good. 31-28 is the score. 1:24 on the clock here at the Reich. Reed getting full court pressed here by Brittany Jefferson. Reed has to get it across, now does, to Maddie Miller. Back up to Chelsea Reed now as she sets up the offense here for Otterbein. Goes into the high post, kicks it back. Chelsea Reed, instead of pulling it, brings it back out. They go inside Amariah Huck. She kicks it out. Maddie Miller, 3 on the way, off the rim, no good. Rebound to Glick as she corrals it. And Glick picks up her dribble, but she traveled with it. Yeah, I think that's what she's trying to argue with it, but it looks like she took her, her eyes and her feet weren't quite working together on that play as she started to lose control of that dribble a little bit we saw there. So Kirsten Taylor checks into the game for Otterbein. And Amariah Huck will head to the bench. Reed inbounds it to Maddie Miller, who gives it back to Reed. Chelsea Reed with 48 on the game clock. Looks to penetrate, almost lost the basketball. 19 on the shot clock. Pfeiffer with this turnaround jumper, no good. Rebound grab there by Jefferson. 35 on the clock, and it's a 3-point game. It's about an 8-second difference between the shot clock and the game clock. As Cavell with it guarded by Fiera Cruz. Goes up, gets the bucket to not fall. But she'll head to the charity stripe for 2 free throws. A place that Wilmington is 9 for 9 from tonight.
Fiora Cruz picks up the foul. That's her first personal, and the team's 9. So the next one for either side will put them in the double bonus. Not that it's going to matter much. Cavell puts up the free throw, and it's up and good. So, Jacob, how about this? Wilmington, 10 of 10 now from the charity stripe in this basketball game.
Unheard of for the most part, Elijah. Otterbein trying to take advantage of that and really kind of force the issue there, but obviously not the case. They're making up for every point that they're missing.
And it's 11 of 11 now as Cavell knocks down that last free throw. 24.8 seconds, and a foul is called here on Courtney Tucker, which if you're Wilmington, it's probably a good thing. You're going to give Maddie Miller opportunity at 2 points because it is now double bonus situation. And that foul is going to go on Courtney Tucker, and that is her second personal. And again, it's the double bonus here for Otterbein, so Maddie Miller be at the line as she puts up the free throw, and it's off the back rim, no good.
Maddie Miller makes us expect Wilmington to take their time a little bit, maybe get a last-second shot off if they can find an open lane.
Maddie Miller from the free throw line this year, shooting only 63%. As she puts up the second one, it's up and good. It's now a 2-point game, 24.8. Wilmington probably going to take the last shot as the shot clock is off here. As Cavell brings it across, holding it and just waiting as the clock runs down. Now at 10, we'll see when she decides to go. It's right now at 8. Cavell puts up the jumper, gets it to fall. 4 seconds now on the clock, 3, 2, and Chelsea Reed gonna throw up a prayer. It's an air ball, and that's going to end the first half. So the score at halftime, the Otterbein Cardinals are tied with the Wilmington Quakers at 32. We'll take a break right here on Otterbein TV, but when we come back, we'll have some halftime stats and analysis as well as second half action. You're watching Otterbein basketball on Otterbein TV.
Hello and welcome back to the Reich Center. Jacob Barker here along with Elijah Gonzalez, providing you some halftime stats and analysis from the first half. As we are all tied up at 32 apiece, but one of the points of emphasis for this game was the amount of turnovers that Otterbein has committed. And Elijah, we talked about Otterbein with 8 turnovers, Wilmington with 6. And a lot of both of these teams really not willing to give much of an edge. But as the half went on, it seemed to start to break open a little bit. But again, that gap has continued to close.
Yeah, it seems that, when one side goes on a run, the other side has a response. It's a lot like a prize fight, Jacob. Really, you take one punch, you give another. So Otterbein right now, you look at it, and they played some pretty good basketball here, especially down the stretch in that first half. I was really impressed with the way that the bench players contributed, including Abby Maduri, as well as some of the other players that came off the bench, that including Kirsten Taylor, and she had a pretty good first half. You look at Kirsten Taylor's stats, and she came off the bench and she played 13 minutes and put in 7 points, and is the leading scorer right now for Otterbein. But you look at some of the other players who made an impact in that first half, Jacob. Chelsea Reed, she had 6 points, 2 assists. Maddie Miller, she had 4 points. Amariah Huck also had 4 points. Taylor Pfeiffer, she had 5. So Otterbein really is just kind of spreading the wealth. They're spreading the ball around. They're doing a really good job of that. If you look at something that they might have to change in the second half, it's the turnovers. I think whichever team wins the turnover battle is going to win this basketball game, because right now they're tied at 8 turnovers and they're tied in the score. There's no reason that Otterbein should be turning the basketball over in this second half. Really, Wilmington has not put as much pressure as I thought they were going to, and Otterbein's doing a great job in transition offense of getting the ball up the floor, and their post players are running the floor very well. You look at Taylor Pfeiffer. 2 of her buckets came off of her running the floor and getting down there and posting up on the block. She did a great job of that. And then also Kirsten Taylor had a bucket off of that. And Chelsea Reed, with the way that she distributes the basketball, she's going to find those players if they are streaking down the floor. So we'll see if Otterbein can continue that in the second half. You look at some of the other stats, Jacob, it's 21 rebounds for Wilmington, but 25 for Otterbein. That was something that, with Otterbein winning the rebound battle, was partially the reason that they have this lead. And they've really been able to contain Moyer inside. Moyer only has 6 points in this basketball game. Courtney Tucker, she has 6 points. If those two both get in double figures, Otterbein could be in trouble. But if they're able to, again, contain the scoring of both of those players, then they will be in good shape down the stretch.
Otterbein, taking a look at some of the stats here, you talked about the leaders in points for Otterbein. We talked about Kirsten Taylor. She leads the team with 7 points, followed up with Chelsea Reed. Meanwhile, you look over to the Quakers, and it's Ellie Keevel. We talked about the depth of this Wilmington team, how it could be any given player at any given point in the season or in any game, and that has been the case. But you have 2 other players tied with 6 points apiece. Meanwhile, Brittany Jefferson with 7. You got Mary Moyer and Courtney Tucker each with 6. So for Otterbein, the key is turnovers. We did talk about that quite a bit, as Otterbein looking to cut down on that. Whoever's going to win this game, it's going to be the turnover battle. Meanwhile, taking a look at some of the other halftime scores here around the Ohio Athletic Conference, the rival Capital Crusaders trailed the Muskingum Muskies 31-27 at halftime. Dixie Jeffers looking for that elusive 655th victory just to add to her OAC total, as she is all alone in first place and wins all time for a women's coach. Meanwhile, the Baldwin-Wallace Yellow Jackets, they're on top of arch nemesis John Carroll 32-29. Mount Union trailing Marietta 43-28. And Ohio Northern tied for first place in the Ohio Athletic Conference. They are on top of the Heidelberg Student Princess 31-19 at halftime. So as we are winding down here at halftime, both teams are in their huddles, and there we are about ready and set for the second half. 32 apiece, as we talked about earlier. Both teams going back and forth. Both teams with short runs. Otterbein's largest lead was 7 points at 1 point. And
Jacob, also another score that's of interest to the viewers out there. The Otterbein men's basketball team, they trail by 18 at the half. They're losing to Wilmington 45-27. Although, Jacob, again, Otterbein in this basketball game playing without three of their starters, including Jake Phillips, Mark McEwen, Matt Hughes still out with his injury, and then off the bench, Clayton Schaefer not in this basketball game because he has a shoulder injury in which he's been in a sling all week, hasn't even practiced. So Otterbein really down a couple of players in that game. So we'll see if they can find a comeback, and it's going to have to come at the hands of some of the reserves that have been in that game so far.
Otterbein attacking in the opposite end here to start the second half, and it's Corbett laying on inside, tries to put it up off the backboard and in. Mary Corbett, great second effort, great spin around.
Yeah, good job. Yeah, good job by Corbett there. Don't normally see her play the post position, but right there, great move with her back to the basket and a nice turnaround jumper. But now Otterbein's have to play some defense here and can't allow this as Tucker's inside.
As Tucker would try just a little bit of a stutter step inside, but they're going to call her for a travel. She mishandled that ball. We've seen that also quite a bit. A lot of traveling violations in tonight's game.
Yeah, that one Tucker just didn't get control of it. And when she did, she caught it and then put it on the floor twice. So she picked up the double dribble there. But again, you can't allow her in the middle of the lane. It's a good job of Corbett of getting her hand in there and not allowing that play to develop.
Huck inside, tries to post up, goes off the backboard, rebounded there by Tucker. And she'll lead the way in transition for the Quakers across the midcourt line. Takes her time with it, Tucker with it. Defended by Corbett, tries to rotate inside, tries to find an open lane, and another errant pass there as Andraki was waiting on the left wing on the near side.
Tucker is forcing things right now, Jacob. She wants to get into this game so bad that she's really making just poor mistakes on the floor. That was good vision there, but just really was nothing going on for Tucker, and she's kind of just forcing things.
Nice give and go there from Chelsea Reed to Amariah Huck.
Nice
Reed tries to go underneath, misses that one, and it's rebounded out by Kristen Glick.
That's a layup 9 out of 10 times Chelsea Reed finishes on that reverse.
As the Quakers try to work it inside. That was Mary Moyer with it. Tried to take that centering feed and try to post up.
And that was a play right there. Chelsea Reed, she makes two mistakes in one. She misses that layup and then comes down and picks up the foul. Reed just needed right there to not use her hands and make Moyer finish that layup, because I really don't think with the way Moyer's been playing that she would have finished that shot.
Robles, she hands it off to Andraki. Andraki tries to find a lane to drive in. Now Tucker for three on the near side wing. Air ball rebounded out by Moyer, but it's picked up by Chelsea Reed. 2-on-1 with Maddie Miller. Reed hands on over to Miller underneath, and she'll work it back around. Corbett thought about a three, couldn't take it. Now that's Amariah Huck double teamed by the Quaker defense.
And see, that's a play that Otterbein needed to convert on and not go to the charity stripe. It was a bad pass there by Chelsea Reed. You know, she waited a little bit longer, which was the right idea, but then through that pass to Maddie Miller, a little too close to the baseline, didn't give Maddie Miller the right angle, and Amariah Huck, as she knocks down that free throw, she's really been a huge contributor for Otterbein, and especially from the charity stripe, shooting about 75%. So Otterbein, and that's something, again, Jacob, you know, Otterbein, they didn't shoot very well in the first half from the charity stripe. They're going to have to be 100% because Wilmington right now has yet to miss a free throw. They're 11 of 11, and Amariah Huck knocks down both.
36-32, just about 2 minutes into the second half here as the Quakers, Andraki brings it across.
And this would be a big stop for Otterbein on this possession if they can pick it up.
Working it around the perimeter now. Andraki on the opposite side, the near side wing. Ball jumbled around a little bit, and it's rebounded out by Huck. Leading the way in fast-paced transition is Miller on the near side wing. Back out to Chelsea Reed. Good shot there, and she knocks down that three. Can't miss that one. And Chelsea Reed adds to the Cardinals' lead at 7, 39-32 now. Andraki with it. She'll hand it on over. A little stutter step there from Glick, and they're going to call another traveling violation now. And that's the second traveling violation that we've seen Kristen Glick commit thus far in this game.
Yeah, and Otterbein, or Wilmington, I should say, is looking a little bit out of sorts. And Jacob, all the three-pointers that Otterbein's had, they've come in transition. So Otterbein really shooting the ball well when it's come to transition buckets.
That one off the hands of Tucker. An attempted pass by Maddie Miller. She was looking for Mary Corbett.
And here's a play out of bounds, Jacob. This is a tough spot. Chelsea Reed is packed in this corner. They're going to have to find a way to get it just out of the corner and really get it out of trouble. That's a good job by Chelsea Reed there to get it to Huck.
Nice feed there to Huck. Tries to drive the lane, and it's going to be a foul here on Glick as Huck will go back to the charity stripe. 2 for 2 already this evening.
Amariah Huck so good at drawing contact as she goes to the rim, Jacob, and right there did a good job of it, ran right into the body there of Glick, and she'll head to the charity stripe as she knocks it down. And, you know, I mentioned it, Otterbein needs to be 100%. They have here so far in this half, but now with this 9-point lead, we saw the last time they played Wilmington. Wilmington won a 17-6 run at the end of the game and pulled out the victory. So Otterbein, they can't let that happen. They're going to have to sustain this lead.
Otterbein's largest lead of the evening at 9. Taking a look back is Weber. Back to Jefferson. Weber thought about it. Unable to convert, though, and Maddie Miller will grab the rebound. Corbett on the far side tries to hand it inside for Pfeiffer. Pfeiffer just wisely kicks it back out to Chelsea Reed at the top of the key. Looking back inside for Amariah Huck. Miller wants it. They're going to call a jump ball, and the possession arrow will favor Wilmington.
Yeah, that's not a good play there by Amariah Huck. You got 3 players that converge on you. You have Chelsea Reed, who just hit the big 3-pointer to put you up by 7, and then Amariah Huck, of course, made those 2 free throws, but Chelsea Reed was open. You had 2 shooters also on the outside that were open as well, so not a great shot selection there by Amariah Huck and caused a turnover because of it, but Otterbein, again, they need to get a stop here.
Jefferson thought about it. Nice pump fake there. Tries to go inside and underneath beside Taylor Pfeiffer, and does.
Great Euro step from Jefferson.
There's that nice move there by Chelsea Reed. Tries to go underneath the basket. Thought about the shot, but instead she's just going to drive it herself. Tries to get her own rebound on that shot. Huck getting tied up there with Kristen Glick.
And Otterbein's going to get the ball back thanks to the hustle there of Amariah Huck. And that's just great hustle by Huck to get on the glass. But Chelsea Reed, Jacob, that's a shot she should take. I mean, she thought about it and then penetrated. I know that floater is her game, but she really does need to just pull the trigger. She already hit one. That would have been a good shot selection for her. But, you know, again, I like the choice to drive, but I think the shot selection, shooting the basketball from beyond the arc would have been a better shot there.
Otterbein setting up in that box, now breaks it, and now Chelsea Reed will hand it off to Corbett. Reed on the far side, back over to Corbett, left wing. Inside for Huck, now back out for Taylor. Taylor now Maduri for 3 on the near side wing. Goes off the edge of the rim, and it's picked up by Andracki. Leading the way in transition, now it's Jefferson. Jefferson, again, another traveling violation for this Wilmington team. That's going to be another turnover. As Elijah, you said, whoever wins the turnover battle is probably going to come out on top. And right now, Wilmington's committing them, and Otterbein's making them pay.
Yeah, 12 turnovers now for Wilmington, only 9 for Otterbein. So it's really contributed to this lead here for the Cardinals. But been a couple of minutes since they got a bucket. They really need one here. Expect Maduri or Reed to pull the trigger on a shot, or maybe even try and go inside to Amariah Huck.
Shot clock down to about 12 now. Down to 10 is Chelsea Reed, top of the key. Looks to try and get it inside, but can't. Long 3 for Huck. Doesn't usually take those shots. And as a result, she'll miss that one. Rebounded by Jefferson, and in transition, she'll bring it in with speed. Now over to Hassaker, who knocks it down. The first points of the evening for Hannah Hassaker.
Yeah, that's a good move there by Chelsea Reed to get up the floor. Now she's got numbers.
Reed tries to take it in herself. A little bit of an extra stutter step as she tried to head to the basket, tried to stop up and, just put that one in.
Yeah, that's a play I thought, Chelsea Reed, she penetrates the baseline so well, and I thought instead of going for that layup, she was going to go and reverse it, and she had Abby Maduri wide open in the corner and just couldn't get it to her and took the shot instead.
41-36, 15:06 remaining. They're going to call a foul here as Jefferson was trying to drive. It's going to be on Mary Corbett.
Yeah, and Corbett right there, she didn't like the call, and I'm not surprised because there's just a little bit of body contact, and not only will she not like the call, but that's going to be her 3rd foul, so she's going to have to head to the bench and be replaced by Fiera Cruz, you'd assume. As the first one that's the first miss, Jacob, of the game for Wilmington from the charity stripe, as Jefferson couldn't get it to go. And how about this, Jacob? We see Cheyenne Hartley-Carr coming in for the first time for Otterbein, and really now, if you're the Cardinals, you got 2 shooters on the floor in Maduri and Hartley-Carr. So we'll see if Coach Richardson puts them in there and gets a play designed for the 3-pointer.
As Jefferson misses that one, possession arrow, though, on the jump ball favors Wilmington. They'll get the ball back.
2 misses from the charity stripe, Jacob, in the second half. Now for Wilmington, they're 0 of 2. And those are the first 2 misses of the game for Wilmington as well.
Inbounding it there is Keevel. Keevel now tries to hand it off. Jefferson, long 3-pointer on the way from the right wing, and it's good.
There's a big shot there by Jefferson, and now Otterbein really needs a bucket on this possession.
Trying to break that skid there for Otterbein. Now it's Hartley-Carr back into the lineup. Just tries an errant pass, though. Was looking for Mary Corbett and is unable to get it to her. Connie Richardson letting her know what she thinks of that one. Not the smartest decision for Hartley Carr.
Yeah, well, I think Taylor Pfeiffer sealed, and then she kind of changed her seal, and that's what threw Cheyenne Hartley Carr off and made her throw that bad pass. But nonetheless, this is a big possession. Otterbein, you need to stop, and you're not going to get it.
And Jefferson continues to be red hot. She's got more points now, driving the lane. And we're all tied up at 41 apiece. Now it's Maduri. Maduri stops up, tries to get a two-pointer of her own. She misses that one as well. And they're going to call a foul, looks like on Wilmington here.
Yeah, and a lot of young players like Maduri don't normally crash the glass off their own shot. But a good job by Maduri. She crashes the glass and drew the foul. It's a great job by Abby Maduri. It's a heads-up play, and she drew the foul on Robles, who now picks up her third foul of the game. But Jacob, Brittany Jefferson, she's had an incredible game so far. 12 points, now 14, and she's leading all scorers.
Top of the key, it's Maddie Miller. 41 apiece as we are all tied up. Maduri stops, hesitates a little bit. Shot clock down to 20 now. Taylor inside the lane. Now she's going to hand it off for Maduri on the near side wing. Maduri underneath. Now she'll kick it back out to Maddie Miller for three, and she knocks it down.
That was a huge shot by Maddie Miller. Great shot by her, and now Otterbein back on the board.
As we're going to get a foul called on Taylor Pfeiffer here. She reached.
Might actually go on fair cruise, and it is. She's going to get the block before Pfeiffer got the arm. But Jacob, I mean, that was a huge bucket for Otterbein. They've went scoreless, I think, for the past at least 3 minutes of this basketball game, and before that shot by Maddie Miller. So that was a huge shot by Miller, and Cavell continues where she left off as she knocks down that free throw. Yeah, she's in double figures.
Yeah, Otterbein, that was their first points ever since the 17-13 mark. So Otterbein, huge bucket there. Now, with it being a one-point game, now Maduri will try to lead the way in transition now. Full court press coming from the Quakers as Otterbein will look to break it. Taylor tries to get it inside. Mishandles that pass, and Miller will pick it up on the left wing.
Yeah, and Taylor right there, she tried to penetrate and get the kick to Maddie Miller, but when she penetrated, those good hands that came from Brittany Jefferson.
Nice inside look there for Taylor. She thought she had Pfeiffer there, but good job there by Moyer. Get an extra hand on that one.
Yeah, and they're actually going to call the foul on Moyer, so Otterbein will get the basketball back, and that's a huge foul that came on Moyer because that's her third personal. So she's going to have to go to the bench for a little while and get a little more height out of there if you're Otterbein.
Emily Smith back in the lineup replacing Moyer as they're going to call a 5-second violation on Maduri, and that's a turnover that Otterbein needs to avoid.
Yeah, and that's a bad turnover there for Otterbein because Maduri probably should have thrown that ball in just a little bit sooner because she did have Maddie Miller streaking up the floor.
Nice feed there from Keevil to Jefferson, but it's rebounded out by Taylor. Otterbein looks to take advantage. Taylor looks a little stutter step there. Now left wing gets Miller. Miller shot clock down to 20. She'll try to hand it inside for Taylor. Taylor now back out top of the key for Maduri. Long three-pointer on the way, no good. Rebound out, and it's scooped up by Taylor Pfeiffer. Pfeiffer now, she'll hand it off to Abby Maduri. Shot clock now, fresh one for Otterbein. Maduri looking defended there by Jefferson. Nice screen there from Pfeiffer, and they're going to call a foul, looks like, on Pfeiffer indeed.
Yeah, they are, because Brittany Jefferson was really getting into Abby Maduri, and Taylor Pfeiffer just kind of threw that shoulder into her, and that was a good screen from Pfeiffer, but just a little too physical, as they said that once contact was made, she kind of threw the shoulder forward, so that's what they're going to call. But, you know, Jacob, this possession, these next couple of possessions are where the turning point's going to have to be for either side. I really see either team making a run here at this stage in the game.
Wilmington looking to regain the lead. Jefferson tries to drive, and they're going to give her the 2 points as the foul was going to be called.
Yeah, and I don't know who they're going to call that on. If they call it on Maduri, it's not going to be on Maduri because Maduri had her hands straight up, and there's a lot of body, but Maddie Miller kind of reached in there, and now it's a 1-point game. And like I mentioned, at the about this time of the last time these two teams played, Wilmington went on a 17-6 run and closed out the game and really pulled away from Otterbein, so Otterbein can't let that happen here.
Cardinals looking for a response now. It's Cruz on the right wing. Back to Maduri now, working it around is with Maddie Miller. Miller looks, moves to top of the key. Shot clock down to 15. Maduri Dobbs takes her time with it, tries to get it inside, but can't. Now she's just going to hand it off to Maddie Miller for a jumper. No good. Rebound there by Amariah Huck. A jump ball, and the possession will favor Otterbein, though, so good job by Huck to be posted up down low. Give Otterbein a second chance as we got Chelsea Reed coming back into the game for Fiera Cruz.
Yeah, that's a big move there by Coach Richardson to put Chelsea Reed back in the game. She's got 9 points, really has been an offensive threat here in the second half, so we'll see if she can contribute offensively like she did early in the second half.
Otterbein, once they were up 41-34, and now they trail 46-44.
It's been a while since an Otterbein bucket.
Miller with it now. She's going to hand it off to Huck. Huck over to Maduri. Maduri tries to drive the lane. No good. Rebound by Huck. Miscontrolled that one. And now it's taken away by Andraki. Andraki just slows it up near top of the key. He's going to hand it off on the left wing to Jefferson. Jefferson, long three-pointer, airballed out, but the rebound is scooped up there by Glick. Glick tries to set something else up, and Wilmington looking to add to their lead on the left wing. That's Hooper. Hooper now hands it over for Glick on the right wing. Now top of the key for Andraki. Now inside for Jefferson. As the ball rolled on her a little bit, couldn't control the pass, and it goes out of bounds. Otterbein will get possession of it, but a timeout called by head coach Connie Richardson. And Elijah, you have to think if you're Richardson, you want to prevent those kinds of turning points. Like you said, what happened in the last game between these two teams?
Yeah, and, Coach Richardson knows that this game just kind of getting into a track meet a little bit, and the plays just getting sloppy by both sides. And, we mentioned the turnover battle, Jacob. This game is a 2-point game, but the turnovers are tied right now. And that's why I think that whichever team makes a run at this point in the game is going to be the winner. Because right now, if Otterbein makes a run, they're going to have to turn Wilmington over, and that's really what's going to kill the Quakers. Because in this game, both teams can score the basketball. The question is, can you hold on to the basketball? And for both sides in the second half, we've seen great play from one side, and then we've seen great play from the other side. So, again, if they can force turnovers and play great through the rest of this game, they'll pull out the victory. But Wilmington, they've done a good job of mixing up looks defensively for Otterbein and really putting pressure on the guards. And that's why I think Coach Richardson, I don't see Chelsea Reed coming out of this basketball game the rest of the way.
Momentum, a huge factor in this game for Otterbein, for both teams, in fact, as neither team has been able to grab a hold of the lead. But a score update now down in Wilmington. The men's team, trailing Wilmington by a score of 55-33, as we said. Otterbein and the injury bug has hit them indeed.
It's actually now, Jacob, it is now 65-41. So Otterbein really, really behind the 8 ball in that game down in Wilmington. And, just looking at some of the players that are in the game, not a lot of players that have seen time this year, including Aaron Malley. He's seen some time recently, but again, you mentioned it, the injuries, and it hurts the Cardinals, and this game might knock them out of contention for the playoffs.
Indeed, for the OAC tournament, as both teams sit in last place, in desperate need of victories, but right now for the men's team, not looking favorable as we get a turnover and a foul called here near midcourt. Looks like it's going to be Mary Corbett that will be guilty again.
Yeah, and that's huge because now Mary Corbett has 4 fouls, and she's going to have to be careful. I know Fiera Cruz is sitting there waiting to come in, but Mary Corbett cannot pick up her 5th.
There's a long three-pointer from Savannah Hooper. That's her first 3 of the evening. And now Wilmington on top by 5, 49-44 with 10:55 to go. And there's another turnover committed by Chelsea Reed now. Jefferson looking to make the Cardinals pay, drives to the hoop on her own, and she's got it. Wilmington with their largest lead of the evening.
And here comes that run I'm talking about, Jacob, and Otterbein just on the wrong side of it right now.
Otterbein trying to get things back under control. Now it's Corbett. Tries to play it underneath for Huck. Huck nowhere to go with it. Now Chelsea Reed's going to take a three-pointer, and she knocks it down. Huge 3 for Chelsea Reed, and that knocks it down to 4.
Yeah, Chelsea Reed, like I mentioned, again, Jacob, she's been a player that really has stepped up big here in this game for Otterbein. She's now in double figures with 12, and Chelsea Reed, don't expect her to come out of this game.
Jefferson, she'll take another long three-pointer, rebounded out, and it's controlled by Miller. Tries to secure it and does. And Otterbein will grab possession of it. Chelsea Reed in transition the other way. Top of the key, takes a look, defended there by Jefferson. And she'll work it around on the right wing on the near side. Miller now top of the key. Starter steps, right wing for Huck. Huck, little sloppy pass there. It's picked off by Glick, but it's immediately scooped up by Miller again, and now she's trying to find time and space underneath. Hands it over for Corbett. Shot clock down to 1, and they beat it. And Otterbein is back to within 2.
That's a great job by Otterbein. Great response. And they're going to have to find an even better response by stopping Wilmington here on this possession and even a couple of possessions down the stretch.
Nice screen there by Glick, and now Huck tries to grab the rebound, but turns it right back over to Smith.
That's a bad play by Emery Huck. Brought that ball down, and Smith just ripped it out of her hands. Good play by Emily Smith, though.
Huck trying to go for the rebound off of Chelsea Reed. Shot, and it's scooped out again by the Quakers, and it's Andraki breaking it out on the left wing. Now back out for Jefferson, top of the key, tries to hand it on inside for Glick. Glick trying to go up against Taylor, and they're going to get Taylor with the foul, and Glick will go to the free throw line.
Yeah, it's going to be a foul there, like you mentioned, on Kirsten Taylor, the freshman out of Cambridge, Ohio. But, you know, Jacob Otterbein did a good job responding to that first run that Wilmington made, but they can't allow them to go on the second one here as Glick misses. And we were kind of just waiting for Wilmington to start missing free throws, and now the true colors that have shown here if you're Wilmington, because they have not shot the ball from the charity stripe very well this year, and they aren't doing it very well here in the second half.
As that was the third missed free throw, and that's going to be the fourth. As we get Courtney Tucker back into the game for the Quakers now, nearly a fresh lineup as Keeble with it now. Top of the key, hands it over for Glick. Glick now back, top of the key. She'll work it around for Robles. Robles trying to exchange with it. Nice passing there by Wilmington, but it's picked away by Maddie Miller to stop that rhythm. Robles with it. She's going to wait to set something up here. Try to get it away for Keeble quickly. Shot clock down to 10. Wilmington looking to get a shot away. 53-49 now. Tucker tries to drive center lane herself and does. And they're going to get Chelsea Reed on the foul, though, with shot clock at 5, and she'll go to the charity stripe.
Yeah, it's not a good foul that came there from Chelsea Reed. Probably should have just let her go up with that, because that's a shot Courtney Tucker has struggled with in this basketball game, but now she's at the charity stripe, place where she shot well from here tonight. But we'll see if she gets the plague. Nope, she knocked it down, but, you know, Wilmington, again, has not shot the ball very well here in the second half.
And she'll make it 4 for 4 from the free throw line as Courtney Tucker. Wilmington continues to add to their lead, 55-49. 8:27 to go here in the second half, and it's Taylor top of the key with it. She'll hand it over for Chelsea Reed. Defended there by Tucker. Tucker now, she's going to hand it over for Fiera Cruz. Cruz now back over to Miller. Shot clock nearly down to 10. Taylor with it now. She's going to hand it back over for Miller. Miller trying to drive the baseline, kicks it back out for Chelsea Reed. Shot clock down to 5. Rebounds out off the rim, and a fresh look for Otterbein here. Left wing, it's Miller. Miller shot. Now she's going to take a 3 of her own. Rebounded by Cruz, picked up. No foul called. And they're going to call one on Cruz instead as she was trying to pursue Tucker to force the turnover.
Yeah, and Coach Richardson is not happy with the officiating crew right now because she thought Fiera Cruz was foul, and I have to agree with her that that was a bad call there by the official. But
rightfully so there, Elijah. You know, we thought Cruz had that open look. It looks like she had an extra hand on her, was unable to get it away. And now Wilmington in the bonus. Tucker shooting 1-1. Tucker, you can make it 5 for 5. She can't miss. And Coach Richardson trying to find a way to wake up her squad here and try to keep Wilmington from going on a longer run. But you can make it an 8-point lead, largest of the game for Wilmington. And they are on top, 57-49.
Otterbein needs to respond. They need to punch right back here. It's again, it's like a prize fight, and they need to punch back here in this game.
Otterbein looking for some momentum. Now it's Taylor. Nice feed there over to Chelsea Reed. And we're going to wait. We're going to get a foul on the floor here. Looks like it's going to go against Wilmington. We'll wait the call.
It's going to be on Mary Moyer. That's going to be her 4th foul. So Moyer's going to have to come out of the game. She's being too physical down there. Got tangled up with Fiera Cruz. But, you know, Jacob, there's a little upset update to update you. Marietta, who's undefeated in conference, down with 53 seconds to go by 8 to Mount Union. So a little upset brewing there in Alliance.
And I know our very own Adam Prescott obviously happy about that one. an alum of University of Mount Union here, our Assistant Sports Information Director. Big thanks to him for the job that he does. The errant pass by Fiera Cruz tried to get it way over the head of Chelsea Reed.
Yeah, this is not the response that you need if you're Otterbein. And, you know, I mentioned that with 9 minutes to go, Wilmington went on a run. And Jacob, with 9 minutes to go in this game, Wilmington went on a bit of a run. So, you know, Otterbein, again, we'll see how they respond. But this has been the run that's staggered the Cardinals.
Man, that's that Illuminati effect that you're trying to prevent if you're Otterbein. But it is taking effect here for Wilmington as they move that ball around quickly now. Keevil, long three-pointer, goes off the rim, rebounded there by Smith. Smith now will pick it up for Tucker, top of the key now for Keevil. Keevil just takes her time with it as Wilmington has a fresh shot clock now, but it's down to 20. Keevil, long jumper, rebounded back by Chelsea Reed. And she'll try to lead the way in transition. They're going to call an offensive foul on Reed, though.
No, they're going to call a foul here on Tucker. Yeah, she was kind of riding her the whole way. And Chelsea Reed going to get the foul.
And Chelsea Reed just said, hey, enough. Tried to shake her off. Tucker wouldn't let go, and they're going to get the foul. She's questioning the official right now.
Yeah, and Tucker didn't like the call that came from the official, so still arguing with it, but just needs to calm it down because doesn't want to get herself teed up.
And teed up, by that you mean technical. That would certainly benefit Otterbein, though.
Yeah.
As Pfeiffer now, she stands on the perimeter now. Turnover by Chelsea Reed.
Turnovers plaguing the Cards.
Huck couldn't get a handle on it, and Wilmington making them pay right now as they lead 57-49 with 6:33 to go.
17 turnovers now for Otterbein. They're losing the turnover battle by 4, Jacob, and it's shown.
Jefferson killing the Cardinals all evening long. As Glick fumbled with it, went off of her, though, before she went out of bounds. And looks like Pfeiffer is just going to wait the inbound call from the official. And Hannah Hasker will take Glick's spot. It looks like she was getting up a little bit slowly on that one. We'll wait to see what happens there. But Otterbein desperately looking for a response and a run here with 6:12 to go. Down by 8. Nice inside work there by Amariah Huck. Now back out for Pfeiffer. Maduri back on the floor at the top of the key now for Pfeiffer. Left wing for Chelsea Reed. Reed, nobody inside, so she's just going to try and hand it off, though, for Huck. Huck thought about it, miscontrolled, tried to get a weak shot away, was unable to do so.
Yeah, good defense there, though, by Maddie Miller. She made Emily Smith step on the line, so now Otterbein will get the ball back, but Amariah Huck going to check out of the game, and she's really battled down low. Just hasn't been enough, though.
Mary Corbett taking the place of Maddie Miller on the floor. Chelsea Reed with it now, and a timeout called by Connie Richardson, and wisely so. Trying to set up an offensive play here and trying to get their momentum back. And Elijah, we talked about it, turnovers. And it seems like it's that Illuminati effect that we talked about in the last game against Wilmington, where you start to give into Wilmington's style a little bit, and you start to try and, get away from your game. And it seems like that's becoming the factor here.
Yeah, it really has, Jacob. I mean, again, I think that the turnovers tell the story in this game. Also, just Otterbein just hasn't been able to convert here at the latter part of this game. And, when Wilmington has went on runs, Otterbein's been able to respond. But right now, they just can't respond in any way, and the only way they're really responding is with turnovers. But, Jacob, look at the men's side of things. Otterbein having not a lot of success down in Wilmington as they trail 71-55. And that upset that I mentioned, Jacob, it's official. Mount Union has won by a score of 102-92. So it's a 10-point upset for the Purple Raiders over Mount Union, who was ranked in the top 3 this week in Division III college basketball. So that's how the OAC has gone today.
And knowing how the OAC goes, I'm sure those two teams will meet later on in the postseason in the OAC tournament, though. Turnover by Jefferson. Otterbein looks to take advantage with it, and it's Chelsea Reed breaking it down the floor. She'll try to break through top of the key. Nice inside look for Pfeiffer. And it's no good, but she'll get the foul as we're taking a look here at the celebration going on here in Alliance, Ohio. The student section rushing the floor. And rightfully so. When you've just taken down a team powerhouse like Marietta, you deserve to celebrate in any way, shape, or form. And they're doing that up at Mount Union right now as Otterbein finally getting that needed point. Pfeiffer looking to make it 2.
Yeah, but Jacob, now the rest of the way, it's can Otterbein stop Wilmington? That's been a problem here as of late when Otterbein has put on a run. So they're going to have to do it here if they want to get back in this game with only 5 minutes and 20 seconds to go.
Nice feed there by Spencer Robles. Smart play if you're Wilmington, forcing it off the foot of Mary Corbett. 57 to 51. Otterbein desperately trying to crawl their way back with 5:22 and counting. Inbound to Jefferson. Jefferson just takes a look now for Keevil. Keevil, top of the key. Jefferson and Robles exchange spots. Wilmington trying to rotate it around. Nice look there, and it worked as Keevil waited for everybody to move away, including the defense. And now it's a 59 to 51. Wilmington leads again. Nice job there as picking off and forcing the turnover, though, is Hasseker. Now over to Jefferson, top of the key now Hasseker. She's going to take a long 3. No good, but it rebounds out, controlled by Wilmington again. Keevil with it now, top of the key. Missouri defense, shot clock down to 22, and working it around is Jefferson. Left wing, top of the key now, no, on the opposite side on the right wing now. Back inside for Jefferson, and she knocks it in. Nice feed there from that was Hannah Hasseker. And Wilmington extends their lead to 10. Connie Richardson's had enough.
Yeah, and part of the reason for that lead is 2 of the players on the floor that just scored, Jacob, in Brittany Jefferson, as well as Ellie Keevil. And both those players in double figures. Jefferson, 19. Keevil well above her average at 13. So it's just been a rough go of it for the Otterbein Cardinals. And when you're not stopping role players like Keevil as well as Brittany Jefferson, now don't get me wrong, those 2 players have contributed a lot for Wilmington this year, but when you're not stopping players like that, it's going to be tough for you, and especially with the way Otterbein just has not been able to respond, it's not gone the way the Cardinals have hoped here tonight.
Otterbein just hasn't really had that matchup, and Elijah, I think about it, it's that matchup situation that you're looking for in the guard position, and Otterbein has just not been able to find it today. Chelsea Reed and Abby Majuri just not enough of a match. They're just not playing with that same kind of intensity that this Otterbein team needs to pull away here with 4:14 to go and counting. You're down by 10.
Yeah, so Taylor going to go to the line here as they get the foul on Emily Smith for being a bit too physical there. That's her first personal of the game. But Taylor's a pretty good free throw shooter, going to need to convert from the line, and it's going to come down to stops, Jacob, and Otterbein just has not been able to get those here in this game.
Kirsten Taylor, 3 for 4, shooting 1 and 1. Taylor stops, takes the look, shoots it up, and she's got it. She'll earn herself a second chance.
Yeah, and that was a big free throw there, but we'll see how Otterbein does on this defensive possession. That's going to be the real story of how this game's going to end for the Cardinals.
Taylor's shot is up, and she knocks it down as well. Second shot is good, so she's 5 for 6. Otterbein crawls back to within 8, desperately needing stop after stop here on defense. Andracki now back on the floor, top of the key with it. She's going to hand it over to Glick. Glick now on the right wing. Robles drives center lane, puts up a jumper, and she knocks it down. Nice look there by Spencer Robles. Restores the 10-point lead for Wilmington. Right wing now, it's Maddie Miller in transition the other way for Otterbein. Trying to hand it off inside. Taylor thought about it, mishandled the pass from Huck, and another costly turnover. Wilmington looking to take advantage as they are already on top by 10, their largest lead of the evening. And a foul there by Taylor, just trying to force the issue. That's going to be her 3rd and team's 10th on the evening.
Yeah, it's, again, Jacob, it has not been a second half to remember for the Otterbein Cardinals, as they had 8 turnovers at the end of the first half. They're now up to 18 right now. I guess the only upside for Otterbein right now is the fact that Wilmington has not converted free throws as well in the second half, but it's been a rough go of things here for the Cardinals.
Second shot is up and good after she missed the first one. 64 to 53. And Otterbein desperately looking for a response. 3:30 and counting. Majuri with it. And she'll try to work it around there. Nearly turns it over to Robles, but picks up her own dribble. And now tries to bring it off inside. scramble for it. Ball is loose on the floor. We'll wait to see what the officials call here.
And it's going to go possession with Wilmington, so chalk that one up as a turnover, the 19th of the game for the Cardinals.
Chelsea Reed back on the floor for Abby Maduri. Connie Richardson now just trying to pull out all the stops at this point. If you're her, Elijah, you know, you have to think, just try to find something to get this game close and really start to neutralize Wilmington, but almost too little too late. As Jefferson with it, now she'll hand it off on the left wing. Nice pump fake there by Robles, now back over to Glick. Top of the key now for Keevel. Keevel looks for some space to shoot and drive. Ends up driving center lane, and they're going to get foul called here on Otterbein, and we'll wait from the official to see who it's on.
Yeah, that's a tough play there that came from Maddie Miller. Really nothing she could do. Got caught in a screen and just couldn't fight through, but Keevel trying to add to her stellar day already as she does knock down that free throw, but she has had one heck of a basketball game and really, I'd say, has been, besides Brittany Jefferson, the player of the game for Wilmington.
You can make it 15 points for Keevel, 66-53, 3 minutes to go. Otterbein looking to crank up the intensity here and crank up the tempo to try and get themselves back in and looking for a momentum changer. There's Corbett with an attempt, no good, and it's rebounded by Smith. 2:48 and counting. Wilmington on top by 13, the largest lead by either team here in the second half. Hard to think, though, that Otterbein was on top at 7 at one point at the beginning here. Turnover starting to become a factor, though, and Otterbein has been unable to respond now. Jefferson with it. She's going to hand it off on over. Top of the key for Keevel. Shot clock down to 5. Keevel needs to get a shot away and can't. Now it's Jefferson for 3, and she can't miss. Who else but Brittany Jefferson?
24 points, Jacob. Jefferson, she has sealed the deal here for Wilmington.
And with just about 2:10 to go, you would think that might seal Otterbein's fate tonight, down by 16. Huck desperately trying to go up to the basket. They're going to call Smith on the foul.
Yeah, reached in right at the last moment. They're actually going to call it, I believe, on Kristen Glick. Yeah, it's going to be her second foul of the game. So, again, a tough call that didn't go the Cardinals' way tonight, but it was a game in which 20 turnovers, that's not going to get it done if you're Otterbein.
Yep, whoever was going to win the turnover battle, as we said in the pregame even. And a timeout called by Richardson now. You have to think with 2:05 to go, there's not much hope left on that floor and amongst the players in that lineup. You know, Elijah, you're at this point in the game. You know, and I know you've been in these situations before as well back in high school, but, you know, what do you try to say to your players just to try and get something positive out of them?
Well, you know, Jacob, I mean, really it comes down to jacking up shots and then getting some turnovers, and not only just some turnovers, but hoping Wilmington misses some free throws, because especially down by so much right now, you're going to have to start fouling a little sooner than you expected. Even with the shot clock, I think you still have to foul. You can't let them run out 30 seconds of the clock and then, you know, have the possibility that they get a shot to fall. So it's a time in which Otterbein really is just going to have to hope for some turnovers and hope that some long three-pointers fall. But, you know, for those fans out there that are watching this game and wondering if, in fact, the Otterbein men's side is done a little better, they haven't. They're down 87-68 with 27 seconds left. So the Otterbein Cardinals men's side is going to fall tonight as well. And now it's actually 90-68. So this is not what you want to see as you head into the big game against Capital on Saturday.
A big momentum zapper. You talk about that, you know, going into a game like that against your arch rival, and we won't know up until that point who's going to be healthy and who isn't. You know, guys like Jake Phillips and Matt Hughes missing in the lineup. Matt Hughes was the team leader in points the last time they played Capital with 21 points, as that was Otterbein's first victory over the Crusaders for the men's side since 2011.
Yeah, and coaching staff for Otterbein was Wilmington was about to just kind of get that and go, but they wanted a substitution. They got Fiera Cruz in the game for this purpose of defense.
69-54, clock down to 2 and counting. Keevel with it. Otterbein looking to get some pressure, just looking for something positive to get out of the last few minutes here. And that's going to be a jump ball, possession due Otterbein.
Well, they're going to get the timeout here, I think, to Wilmington. They do get it. So Wilmington gets the timeout, and that's huge if you're Coach Richardson, because you had the possession arrow, and she's going to argue this call.
And she's certainly not happy about it, as you know, the possession arrow favors Otterbein.
Yeah,
but you call that timeout, though, beforehand. That's where it's going to be a factor if the whistle went.
The key is that if the coach calls the timeout, it's normally given because the referee on the near side just kind of listening for the coach. But if the player had tried to call the timeout, that was a jump ball because the official that was right next to the ball was calling the jump ball. He blew the whistle, but the other official on the near side, she gave the call to the head coach here at Wilmington. So again, it was definitely a play in which it was the right call that was given, but Coach Richardson didn't like it. And now the score official down in Wilmington, 90-68. The final score. The Otterbein men's team falls to the Wilmington Quakers. So a tough loss if you're the Otterbein men's side, and probably one again. I feel like we say this every week, Jacob, but I feel like this is one that will probably knock them out of the OAC tournament contention. And for the women's side, this game might also knock them out of OAC tournament contention.
Not quite the season that Coach Richardson and her team have looked for. They were looking for a bit of a spark after missing it last season, having a handful of seniors on their team. But right now, they'll have to play for pride and see what that makes out of it, as a long three by Maddie Miller, no good, rebounded out with a minute 44 and counting to go. Otterbein desperately just trying to get something positive out of this one here, and they're going to foul.
Yeah, it's going to be on Kirsten Taylor. It's going to be her fourth foul of this basketball game, and they're just going to hope that one of the better players here for Wilmington hits her free throws, and Courtney Tucker's already got 10 points in this game. And Jacob, as she misses the first, Wilmington, really, they've gotten production out of everyone they needed to get production out of. I mean, you know, really besides Mary Moyer inside, they got the production out of the guard play that they needed. You get, you know, your top three guards scoring all in double figures, and really Emily Keevel, who she's had good games, but she has not had a game like this really, and she was able to step up, and Brittany Jefferson went well above her average tonight. So when you get guards that step up, that have to fill some big shoes, they do a pretty good job of it. It normally goes well for you, and it has for the Quakers.
Game started back and forth, continued that way early on in the second half, but Wilmington has pulled away in a huge way. And Otterbein just looking to rack up some points, trying to get three-pointers away. That's not working, as Tucker will grab the rebound now. It lays it off for Jefferson. Jefferson with 25 points on the evening, easily tonight's star of the game. And Drake now top of the key. She's going to hand it on over for Tucker. Back to Jefferson now. On the left wing, that's Hasseker. Back to Jefferson. Inside for Hasseker, trying to lay it off. Shot clock down to 5. They're going to get a foul called. It looks like it's going to be Maduri. And it's going to be, correction, that's Amariah Huck, her second foul. And Otterbein's 10th foul of this half.
Yeah, it's a tough call. It doesn't go the Cardinals' way, and another miss, but I think missing free throws at this point, it's a little too late.
1:02 left. Lindsay Rosendale, Cheyenne Hartley-Carr, and a handful of other substitutions here being put in, including Morgan Watts off the bench. You got Jessica Leseski in there. Players just trying to make a name for themselves and try to cement their positions for future games.
Yeah, it's just a substitution timeout here for Wilmington, as they're going to empty their bench as well. But again, you know, a tough effort here tonight for Otterbein. Just wasn't enough. And we mentioned the turnover battle. You're not going to win many games with 21+ turnovers in a basketball game.
And you're the only one remaining out there on the floor, as all of the substitutions were being made. Clock under 1 minute to go. Now down to 50, 71-54 as Maduri's shot no good, and it's rebounded out there by Savannah Hooper. Hooper now, she'll play it on back for Mulliken. Mulliken, top of the key. Going to bring it right inside, and she'll hand it on over to Moyer now. Top of the key now, it's Coop. Back to Hooper, excuse me. Now top of the key now for Mulliken. Shot clock down to 10 for the Quakers. And the game clock itself down to 25. Desperately trying to get a shot off there, trying to put it up and over. And a foul called here. It's going to be on Hartley-Carr. we'll wait the call from Bob Kennedy as the first shot is up. And you can put that one in as well. Shot clock is off, 20.5 seconds to go. 18 points, largest lead of this evening. And Wilmington, first what we thought was going to be a dogfight to start the second half. Clock down to 16, and now it has turned into a wide open affair here for the Quakers. A one-sided matchup. And now handed off inside for Hartley Carr now. Watts on the right wing. Shot clock down to 3, 2, and 1. And that's going to wrap it up. Otterbein falls 72-54 after being up at 7 points. Elijah, you think about it. You're up 7 points early in the second half. Your mindset at that point is much different from what it was right now. But what a turn of events for this Quakers team.
Yeah, you know, this was a tough game all the way around for Otterbein. Really a first half in which they played very well. They were tied at halftime, and again, it's the same story, I feel like, over and over again for this team. Turnovers. And, you know, when you have 21 turnovers in a basketball game, you're not going to win many of those games. And not only are you not going to win, you probably won't be competitive in a lot of them. And tonight, they fell short as they were 18 points short, actually, in this game. But, you know, it was just a tough game for Otterbein. And not only that, but you look at the rebounding, and Otterbein, they were ahead in the rebounding by 6 rebounds. And at the end of this game, they were, they were now only up by 1 rebound.
I think you're absolutely right. I think one thing you talk about is the turnover margin. And the turnover margin headed into the half, it was tied at 8 apiece. And that was clearly not the case in the second half as the way we're looking at it now. Otterbein committing 21 turnovers, 13 in the second half. And that's not going to win you anything. That's not going to get you points. And we look back to, at the midway point of the half where it really started to break open, where it was about a two-point game. And you're thinking momentum's going to be a factor down the line because Wilmington was starting to break open with this one. And once they got that 4-point lead, it seems like at the 10:31 mark, things just continued to break open. Otterbein could not respond. And as the lead widened to 8, eventually it widened to 10 and into the double digits. Things were just not going their way. Their shots weren't singing. We look at the field goal department where Otterbein was 15 of 59, 25.4%. Meanwhile, Wilmington, 39.3. Now, three-pointers, that's a whole different story. 6 of 19 for Otterbein, 4 of 19 for Wilmington. But I think it all boils down to that turnover factor.
Yeah,
and how you break those down.
Yeah, no, you're right, Jacob. I mean, it does go with the turnovers, but you look at some of the final stats, and Courtney Tucker, she had 11. Brittany Jefferson and Ellie Keevel, I mean, they played very well. Jefferson added 24, and Keevel had her 15. Looking at it for Otterbein, really was Chelsea Reed who was the main contributor in the production offensively. But Amariah Huck, she did all she could down low, added 11 rebounds. And when your point guard of Chelsea Reed's coming away with 6 rebounds, you're not going to win many games.
Yep.
And Taylor, she had 7 as well. But, it just was an effort in which Otterbein really, it just came down to the fact they couldn't get stops. And they not only couldn't get stops, but at the times when they needed to score, they just came up short. Again, it was that 9-minute mark that I think was really the game changer in this basketball game. But you look at it, and you look at the second half shooting from the charity stripe. If you're Wilmington, and in that second half, I mean, they shot 61% from the charity stripe. But when you get 32 chances from the charity stripe, you're going to win the majority of your games. And they shot 24 of 32 total from the line, and they shot 75%, which is not bad. So it was a rough go for Otterbein, and hopefully on Saturday we can find a victory for the Cards.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I think well said. That will wrap it up here from the Reich Center. For the rest of our crew, our director, Jay Corbett, and our director of television, Dr. Jeff Demas, Steve Rossman, and Mark Pfeiffer. I'm Jacob Barker, along with Elijah Gonzalez. A reminder that our next broadcast will be this Saturday. The doubleheader against Capital, first the women's team at 5 o'clock, followed by the men's immediately after. So doubleheader, you can hear that game on Otterbein TV as well as WOBN at 97.5 FM and WOBN.net. Good night from the Reich Center. Have a good night, everyone.